Well, hello, and welcome to Pop and Heat, episode 23. I'm Kier.
And I'm Leash, and welcome to your new favorite wrestling podcast.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome. Here we are, episode 23.
Yeah.
My birthday's next week on the 23rd, and
Ooh.
this is episode 23.
I was wondering how we'd find a way to celebrate 23. You nailed it.
We always find a reason.
That's great.
Yeah.
Every episode's special, you know?
It is, yeah.
We're still going.
That's right. We're still here, working hard.
They said we wouldn't make it. 23 episodes. Look at us. Who's laughing now?
Look at us. Look at us.
Yeah. So we got a few things to talk about. We're going to try and go through them a little quicker so we don't keep you here forever.
We're going to try. We tend to get chatty.
This is why we have a podcast.
Yeah.
We like to talk. And we like to talk wrestling. And we had 3 different events to talk about for this episode. So why don't you let them know what we're going to do here?
Well, we have Friday Night SmackDown from May 9th, Backlash from May 10th, and then Monday Night Raw from May 12th. Sorry.
13th.
9th, 10th.
Oh, and 12th.
12th.
Yeah. You're right.
That's right, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I knew it.
I'm silly.
I was on the right days.
Nailed it.
Fast math, you know?
All right.
So yeah, a jam-packed weekend, and it was really good. We had a lot of fun watching Backlash. We did like a new little predictions game that was pretty fun with our group that comes here to watch it with us.
Yeah, kind of like a pool kind of thing.
Yeah, it was predictions based. We all bet $5, and it was a lot of fun. It made us definitely even more excited to see the outcome of everything. So.
Yeah, I mean, if we put a championship belt on the line for each of these,
Ooh.
I think that would be cool. We should have like a custom belt made for like whoever wins our pool.
We're ramping up the stakes quite a bit. We went from $5 a person to a championship belt.
Well, I would rather that than win a pool of money.
That's a good point. Yeah, it is more fun.
However big or small. Well, I mean, I guess if it's big enough.
The honor of holding the title. Yeah.
This is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's kick it off with Friday Night SmackDown, May 9th.
Mm-hmm.
This was at the Nutter Center.
The Nutter Center, yeah. Interesting name.
Yeah.
This episode was, as episodes before a PLE often are, this was not super compelling. Not a ton, which is smart, really, because as we saw with WrestleMania, when you have the people from the PLE wrestling the night before, sometimes it can be problematic if somebody gets injured, with Rey Mysterio at Mania. So, not a whole lot of the big names that were going to be at Backlash were doing much of anything, except for one match in particular. But
yeah, they don't want people to get injured. Oh my gosh, injured before a big PLE, but it's still entertaining. Just not a ton of development in the big storylines, but
and it can often be a good opportunity for some of the people that don't get as much camera time.
That's right.
Yeah.
So firstly, this was in Dayton, Ohio, by the way, the Nutter Center, Dayton, Ohio. 9879 number of people there.
Yeah, good crowd.
Yeah, not bad. We open the show with LA Knight and Damian Priest versus Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu tag match.
Yeah. This one was, a little bit odd because 3 of the 4 guys that were going to be in the 4-way match the next night were present in this. And, 2 of them on the same team when they're going to fight against each other the next night. It was definitely a little bit odd.
Yeah, I was a little confused making the notes on it for our show. I had to ask you to clear up for me what exactly happened, just because it was a few days ago now, and I was like, what happened here? It was a little mixy, but it was good. We opened it with Priest getting attacked by Solo Sikoa before the bell. During this match, LA Knight and Damian Priest had a lot of tension, which made sense. They're going to be fighting each other in the next night in Backlash. Yeah. And they've had this kind of ongoing thing going on between them. But yeah, so they were kind of tag partners that weren't maybe cohesively working well together.
No, and I got the impression that that was going to lead to their demise in this match. It didn't look like it was going to go well for them because they just couldn't get on the same page. But that was not the case.
No. We did get a win out of LA Knight and Damian Priest. LA Knight hits a BFT on Solo Sikoa for the win during this match. There had a lot of great things in this match. And there was a post-match attack. Post-match attack. Post-match attack. We had Jacob Fatu laid everybody out. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then.
As he does. Oh, and then surprise guest, Drew McIntyre. Surprise Claymore on Jacob Fatu. That's a double post-match attack.
I was going to say, that's a post-match attack, post-attack?
Post-match attack. A post-match attack with a post-match attack.
Yeah. So much attacking.
So, a lot going on in this match. It was entertaining.
Yeah. Drew smoked him with a Claymore.
Yeah.
And it was good because it kept the fire burning to, keep the excitement strong for the next night.
I feel like there's a lot of star power in that group right now.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's kind of standing out, so that's good.
I really like it, yeah.
Yeah. Next, we had Piper Niven and Chelsea Green versus Zelina Vega and mystery partner for Zelina Vega. We didn't know who it was going to be. And we got Alexa Bliss.
Yeah.
So fun. She's back.
We flipped out.
Yeah.
Huge pop.
The crowd flipped out, too. She had been away and come back, and then she was not really super present during the road to WrestleMania or WrestleMania. She wasn't there. And we were really excited to see her back.
Yeah, we're Alexa Bliss fans, and we love the idea of her taking over the Wyatt Six. We're very hopeful for that. My brother is really into Alexa Bliss, and he was here for SmackDown last Friday, so it was an exciting moment in the house and an exciting moment in the building. Huge pop for her.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell the crowd wants her back full time.
Yeah, I think so too. I see a lot of people online that I guess probably were Alexa Bliss fans for a much longer time, and they don't actually love the idea of her going into the Wyatt Six. They want her to just stay her own thing. For me, I really liked the whole intro to the Wyatt Six last year. I'm excited for it to come back. I think they needed to do more with it, and I'm hoping they do more with it. And I really like Alexa Bliss, so I like the idea of her joining that faction.
Yeah, I think she'd make a really compelling leader for that group.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot that they could do with it. And it doesn't have to, erase or overshadow or do anything to tarnish her character as an individual. I think, if anything, it would enhance it.
Yeah, I would think so too. This was a good match as well. I think Chelsea Green showed a lot of fear of Alexa Bliss. Like, as soon as she came out, Chelsea was like panicked. I mean, she's panicked when most people come out.
Yeah.
But Alexa Bliss and Zelina Vega do win this match.
Yeah, Chelsea's reaction really helped to build the excitement that everybody was already feeling, but it really just fed that thing that was happening.
Yeah.
And yeah, we got quite the treat with this because we got to see Zelina Vega do the Code Red on Piper.
Yeah.
Which was friggin' awesome.
Yeah, it was.
And then we get to see, and they just kind of make their way out of the ring after that, which makes way for Alexa to do the Abigail DDT.
Abigail DDT, the sister Abigail.
Yeah.
I love it.
Pretty fantastic. It's a wicked move.
It's a great move. It's just got that like eerie quality to it that comes with that whole world. I really like it. I want more mystic stuff in the WWE, more character stuff.
I feel like she plays that character so well.
Yeah.
I'm fully bought in. Everything about how she carries herself through her matches, even though we've only seen a handful of them this year.
Yeah.
It's very compelling. I'm fully bought in on Alexa Bliss.
Me too. Hopefully more to come. Next we had Jade Cargill versus Nia Jax. So first, before this match, we did have Charlotte Flair out there for a promo.
Right.
She gets super frustrated with the crowd, not supporting her, I guess, and being against her. And she storms out. She goes to leave. And she kind of cross paths with Jade Cargill on the way out, and they have a bit of a stare down moment.
I had intended to do some looking into, whether or not this was all part of the storyline, the Charlotte storming out of the ring thing.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, you don't know what the crowd's going to do when you go out there. So, for it to have been a plan to storm out because the crowd was reacting a certain way, that's a pretty risky plan because you don't know that the crowd's going to react that way you're anticipating. So I just feel like knowing what's gone on with Charlotte in the last little while and how she's not really afraid to go off script or just sort of go rogue in general, I think it's possible that she just really got frustrated with the crowd and thought, the hell with this. And then as she was going out, Triple H was like, hit Jade's music, go.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
That's cool. It might have been improvised. I could see that, and that would be really neat. I do think in this specific case, yes, unpredictable what the crowd's going to do, but they have had a lot of heat for Charlotte since she's been back. So,
Yeah.
I don't know that it was completely unpredictable that they were going to react that way to her. They seem to boo her quite a bit.
I'm such a kayfabe kid, though, like I'm always looking for a reason to
Want it
believe
to
that
be
it's
real.
Like, I'm always looking for the, like, this is definitely a real thing,
Yeah, yeah.
It's an extremely small percentage that actually goes that way, but I like to believe it's far bigger than it is.
Well, there's definitely some real stuff, real drama around Charlotte this year, so it's not completely out of the realm for sure.
Yeah.
So we go into the match with Jade Cargill and Nia Jax. This is a great match. I mean, Nia Jax is a powerhouse, and Jade Cargill is a literal action figure, as we've said many times before. So I like the idea of the two of them against each other. Tiffany Stratton is out there watching from ringside, and throughout all of this, Naomi comes out and attacks Tiffany Stratton. And of course, anything to do with Naomi, this completely distracts Jade Cargill. So she kind of loses her focus in the match, and Nia Jax capitalizes on that and wins with her finisher. So she wins that match.
Yeah. I had said in a previous episode that I'm okay with the idea of Nia getting, another shot, a little more spotlight.
Yeah.
So, I get that they've done this. I would have liked to have seen more happen for Jade since WrestleMania. I feel like they're not capitalizing on her as much as they should. I think that a good feud between her and Tiffy would be really great.
Yep.
But, they got to give Nia her due. She does deserve the rematch. I've said that a bunch of times. I think, she's been such a big part of things over the 2024 calendar year. They definitely owe her that.
Yeah, I agree. That's the tough thing, is that both Nia Jax and Jade Cargill are in a spot where they deserve some spotlight. So
yeah, and I mean, based on tenure, it's gonna go to Nia, right? I mean, that's not always how they decide things, obviously, but in this case, it appears as though they're trying to go the fair route.
Right. Next, we had the Street Profits versus Fraxium. Street Profits come out injured from their TLC match. They've got their elbows and knees and everything all wrapped up, so they're kind of selling that a lot throughout the match. We did have some glitchy stuff with commercial breaks during this match, which we hate, where they're cutting to commercial break and then we come back, we're like in the middle of something happening. We didn't even see the beginning of the match. It just starts mid-match because of the commercial break. This wasn't too bad, this match, and Fraxium does win, which, as you said, they're on a bit of a run right now. So
3 for 3, and I mean, they are something else. It's kind of like a circus act.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, they are just such high flyers, so coordinated, so quick. To to have them get a win over Street Profits, I guess we can accept that based on the fact that it wasn't a title match and Street Profits were injured.
Yeah.
I'll take it, but I don't think that Fraxium should be beating Street Profits. They've worked really, really hard to carve a place for themselves right now, and I don't think that it's asking too much to give them a 6-month win run. Like, let them go.
Yeah. Well, I think that, and that's the thing, is in this match they made certain allowances to make sure that it was explained why they would have, like, the injuries. Like, there was explanations behind why they would lose in this match. So,
and the match finishes with them shaking hands in the ring, which is not typical.
It's odd.
But I guess, they're both sort of faces, right? Both teams would be faces.
It seems out of place for a Street Profits move, in my opinion. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, they're not heels, I don't think.
Maybe they just respected, how well they took them to task.
That's true, yeah. I think probably in that respect it was the right move. Yeah. All right.
So I guess that gives them a title shot, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, that was a qualifier to have a title shot.
Okay, well, they're not going to win that match.
No, I would expect them to lose that match, yes. Yeah. Once the Street Profits have recovered, Yep. Next, we had Carmelo Hayes versus Aleister Black. The Miz accompanies Hayes out. He tries to interfere during the match, and he causes Carmelo Hayes to lose by accident. So Aleister Black does win this. He's kind of a menacing character coming in just recently into WWE. He also hits The Miz with Black Mass in a post-match tag. Post-match tag.
Post-match attack.
Post-match attack.
Yeah. Here's another one that's out of the gate pretty strong. Definitely looking to do some big stuff with him, it seems.
Yeah, I don't know enough about him. I feel like I'm intrigued. I mean, I'm not far enough down the path, I think, to say that I like him yet. But I'm definitely intrigued by him.
I think, putting him in with the likes of The Miz and Carmelo, they're establishing him as more of that, like, intercontinental title caliber for now, anyways.
Mid-card.
Yeah, but I mean, he's something to pay attention to.
Yeah, for sure. Next, we had Los Garza versus Los Garza versus Andrade and Rey Fenix. So this is a luchador style match. Santos Escobar distracts the ref during this, and it ends up costing Los Garza the match. There's lots of kind of fighting between this group right now, bickering back and forth. So there's some post-match tension between Santos Escobar and Berto.
Yeah, well, Berto pushes him.
Yeah.
And storms out of the ring.
Yeah.
And we knew this was coming. I mean, this has been mailed in for a while now.
Yeah.
Santos has been treating them poorly. Very Chad Gable-esque with his faction.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, he's got it coming. He's gonna get fed soon.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we get an Andrade and Rey Fenix win there.
Yeah, and I've said this a bunch of times. I really like Andrade. I don't think they know what to do with him. They feel like, man, this guy's great.
Yeah,
we want to keep him, but they're not doing anything compelling. Like I'm pretty sure I've said this in a previous episode, so sorry for being redundant, but it's like they just give him like these little one-off stories each episode, right? So it doesn't carry you from week to week and really grab you. So that's not fair to him.
No, there's nothing with any kind of lasting power, or any kind of long-term storylines. It's quick snippets here and there. And we've talked about this before. It's really hard to grow any kind of fan base or win over the crowd when you're not part of any consistent storyline. When you're in and out all the time, of different stuff, there's nothing to build with the crowd.
Yep.
So.
And, that's tough because as you're able to engage with the crowd, your star power grows, your brand grows, you get more action figures, you get in the video games, you get all the stuff, and it changes people's lives. And it all comes down to, did you get the right storyline?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
the guy that's never even on TV with the pen and the paper back there, like, is he doing it right?
Well,
And
this is Karrion Kross's whole thing recently, right? Like,
that's right.
you can get people rallying behind you, and you can get people liking you, but you can't get people really cheering for you if there's no storyline to cheer for. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
And that's it too. Like with Carrion, oh my God, they just sprinkle him into everybody else's stories, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, what's yours?
Yeah.
And I like him. I
Yeah.
want more from Carrion Cross.
I think that's the general consensus with people is people really like Karrion Kross, but they're just not doing anything with him. So how is he supposed to be successful if they're not doing anything with him?
Yeah, and I fear that he's gonna leave, in hopes of trying to do more somewhere else. And if he does that, then we're gonna, he's gone.
Yeah.
We don't watch
sure.
anything else. So
For our lives, he has exited if he leaves the main roster.
yeah, we'll see.
Lastly on this show, we got a John Cena promo. Very mixed reaction from the crowd. Still people on the fence about John Cena because people love him no matter what, but we get a lot of hate for him as well. He kind of verbally destroys Randy Orton, talks about, I guess, a failed drug test that he had. Again, I'm not a historic WWE fan, so I don't know about that specific incident, but apparently Randy Orton had a failed drug test.
I don't know
You
that
don't know either.
No,
We
no.
don't know about that, but apparently it happened, and John Cena called him out on it. Um, During all this, as he is kind of bashing Randy Orton, we get what looks like Randy Orton coming up behind him and tries to pull an RKO on him, and John Cena lays him out. And we were kind of like, I don't think that's Randy Orton.
That's not Randy. He looked way too small.
Yeah, he was much smaller. And as John Cena's kind of celebrating that he took him out, we get the real Randy Orton creeping up behind him for a full-on RKO.
Yeah. And as we mentioned in last week's episode, Randy getting the better of John at these, smaller episodes on the way to the PLE Backlash, it didn't bode well for Randy.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what we thought.
That's right. So that was it for Friday Night SmackDown.
Yeah, I mean, again, a bit of a filler episode because of the fact that Backlash was the next night, but entertaining.
It still had some good stuff in it, yeah.
Excuse me.
Backlash was on May 10th. It was at the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri. 17,057 tickets sold.
Yeah, for a mid-level PLE, that's a decent crowd.
Yeah, good crowd
that's
for
pretty
sure.
Good. Considering what they charge for the tickets, it's a very lucrative evening.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, exactly. We open this with the Fatal 4-Way: Jacob Fatu, Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, Damian Priest for the United States Championship.
Yeah, and this was not as good as I felt it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, we had Priest and McIntyre basically remove themselves from the match pretty much right away.
Yeah, they go out into the crowd pretty much immediately.
Yeah, and they stayed on their own.
Out there, yeah. Damian Priest choke slams Drew, sorry. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre? Yeah. Threw a table out off of some gear out. They're all standing up on.
Strategically placed tables in the crowd.
Exactly, yeah.
Perfect.
We always find that interesting when they fight into the crowd and then there's like, when have you been to a venue for a concert or anything where there's steel trash cans out in the crowd? That's just, there's not, with lids on them. And then, there's a WWE fight breaks out into the crowd and suddenly there's steel trash cans everywhere and tables
Hospitality
everywhere.
tables, just cups.
Just in the middle of seating. Anyways, yeah. So, yeah, you're right. They do kind of remove themselves. And kind of before that, though, before they do that, we have LA Knight and Damian Priest kind of alliances breaking down almost immediately. Like they just parted ways, like.
Yeah, well.
They have to, I know.
Yeah.
I just, I wanted to point that out because they've kind of teamed them up lately.
Well, every man for themselves in this one.
I know, yeah. That's the thing.
And, so that just leaves LA Knight and Fatu in the ring.
Yep.
and Mr. Sokoa
Yeah, he interferes. He's an interferer.
always
Yeah.
ridiculous.
And we also get Jeff Cobb interferes. It's a debut. I don't know anything about
Another
Jeff Cobb.
solo addition to his quasi
Yeah.
bloodline.
He's building up his fake bloodline.
And Fatu did not look impressed.
No.
Despite that fact, though, he did take advantage of the distraction and the
Of course,
attack from Cobb and
pinned
he
LA Knight.
got the pin on LA Knight.
Yeah.
And still
Yeah.
Jacob
Retains.
Fatu. But yeah, very tense walk back to the backstage area.
Yeah, they did like their little walk together, and it does not seem like a cohesive unit there. Which, I mean, we've been feeling that tension for a while. It's kind of weird. We felt it really strong as soon as Jacob Fatu kind of became the more popular or the leader position of it. We felt it really strong, and it kind of dwindled. It seemed like Solo kind of backed down for a little bit, and it does feel like that's building back up again. So.
Well, looks like Solo felt it too. He wanted some backup.
Yeah.
He's nervous, and yeah, he's putting a little more muscle around him. What happened to the Tongans?
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking that today because I saw a meme of Tama Tonga. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I saw. And I was thinking, like, where did he go? He just left.
Yeah.
He's gone.
And his brother, Tongaloa.
Yeah.
He had like an injury, I want to say like 6 months ago or something.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's definitely taken a while to come back.
Tama Tonga, I feel like they came out so strong with Tama Tonga last year and then just didn't go, like, it just dwindled.
Yep.
I don't know what happened there, but he was so scary in the beginning when he first came out.
How consistent is that thing, though, right? Where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, out of the gate strong, this story is going to be great. And then it's just,
Yeah.
it's
I guess
gone.
they can't keep all the storylines going, so they have to pick and choose what they think is going to be popular. But I felt like they could have done more with that. But.
Yeah, I don't know that I agree. I just think you need better writers.
Yeah,
And
maybe.
obviously I love this product. I'm fully bought in. We do a podcast. I mean, I'm not saying I could do a better job. I'm just saying there's got to be a way to keep some of these more compelling storylines alive. Like, well, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but the Wyatt Six thing, like, come on.
No.
You had fire.
I totally
lightning
agree
in a
with that.
bottle, and
Yeah.
you just let it go.
Yeah, that's a sad one for me, for sure. Next, we had Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, this one threw us for a loop.
Yeah. It was interesting. As we said, we did our kind of little pool, our little predictions, and every person here thought Becky Lynch was going to win this match.
Yeah, I don't think anyone got any points in this match,
No,
right? Like, there
no.
were none.
Nothing.
Or maybe the blood.
Oh yeah, there were some like wild card predictions, like someone's gonna bleed in this match, or someone's gonna go through a table in this match. So we might have won on some of the bonus points, but nobody won on the prediction of who was going to win.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was good. Kind of Becky started out really strong. She did use some heel tactics throughout the match, like she removed the turnbuckle at one point. She brought a chair in, but Valkyria ended up countering her pin and won the match.
Yep.
Now,
Becky was pissed.
we did get another post-match attack.
Match attack.
Post-match attack.
So
I love it. I love the post-match attack.
yeah, and yeah, Becky was just not thrilled. It was a sneaky pin for Lyra. This match was weird. I don't know why they put Lyra over on Becky, especially with her just coming back. Like, to me, this felt bizarre. You're trying to really drive this heel character with Becky Lynch home, and I think that would have been a lot easier if she was a champ. Gives her more reason to be out there talking each week. Lyra, we've talked about a number of times, not really having a ton of compelling stuff going on. I mean, yes, last week she did have a good promo, but I thought Becky should have won this for sure.
Yeah. I think something to think about here is that, first of all, Becky Lynch has been a face. And, to a fault, even when she's tried to be a heel before, it hasn't worked in her favor. So I feel like maybe they have to keep pushing her down a little bit more because she returned and people were super excited right away. Even now, she still gets a little bit of cheer in there because people love her. So they got to push her down a little bit more. And alternate to that, Lyra Valkyria needs to be built up a little bit more. She needs people to love her a little bit more. So I think Becky's win is still coming. I think they just want to push them in their opposite directions a little bit further.
Point. They're both good points. Yeah. For sure.
That's
too bad nobody had Lyra Valkyria gets a broken nose in our pool.
Ooh, I forgot about that. So that was pretty crazy. And she is laying in the, so Becky's got her down in the ring in the post-match attack, and she's like holding her face. And I'm like, she's genuinely crying right now. What's going on? And you're like, her nose is broken.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And that was wild. But considering that, she finished it off great.
Yep.
Yeah. She walked out with her head held high, but you could tell she was in pain.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good match. I've said a number of times, Lyra's a good wrestler. And as much as I like Becky, I don't think she's one of the better wrestlers there. I like her character, but I think, Lyra combined with Becky made for a good match. It was good. Just didn't go the way I thought it would. That's all.
Yeah, for sure. It can't. Sometimes it can't.
Sometimes.
Next, we had Dominic Mysterio versus Penta for the Men's Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, and I mean, this one, I predicted, we're going to have some Judgment Day interference. And
which we did.
It's going to be something like that. But it wasn't as cut and dry as that.
No, so, Judgment Day does interfere or attempts to interfere, and they get ejected. Kicked out by a ref. And then we get interference from the Starbucks wrestler El Grande Americano.
I was genuinely going to say, but then Chad Gable interfered.
Oh, yeah. Well, we don't know, do we? Okay, listen, I did see this thing on TikTok.
It's Chad Gable.
Of someone evaluating the matches, and Chad Gable has a tattoo at the kind of top of his back, and you can see it in his what do you call it? What's his outfit?
Leotard.
Leotard? Is that what it is?
I believe that's what it is.
Okay. Yeah. You can see it anyways between the straps. And there's some El Grande Americano matches where that tattoo is not there where it's supposed to be. And this guy was like, El Grande Americano is two people. It's not always Chad Gable. And I'm of that opinion. Kier thinks I'm crazy, but I think maybe somebody else is in there.
I had said that, if it comes out that there's somebody else in the costume, if he's exposed to be somebody else in the costume, then it's all a ruse because, yes, it would be two different people in the costume because Chad Gable's one of them for sure.
All right.
Come on.
I will concede to that, but I think someone else is
Adam
involved.
Pearce even said, hey, El Grande, and Chad turned around
and looked. Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
Anyways, he comes out, headbutts Penta with his metal piece in his mask, metal plate. And Dom ends up hitting a frog splash on Penta for the win, and Dominic Mysterio retains.
It's pretty amazing how he can strike with such accuracy with the metal plate in his head.
I know.
In the split second that the refs turned around, wow.
Yeah.
That is precision, man.
Good job.
Yeah.
El Grande.
It worked out. Dom Mysterio.
I love that Dom retained. I was just watching again today the footage of him winning the belt in the first place and his run back to the ring to celebrate, and it's just so great.
I saw a little thing with Diamond Dallas Page talking about how the crowd basically turned him into a babyface that night, and it was like, if you don't see that he's going to be one of the biggest baby faces of all time someday, you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can't not like him. He's too great. And everybody says, like all the big superstars say, he's the best guy there right now. He's got the brightest future of anyone.
I feel like the vibe is like your little brother that got into too much trouble, but you really want to succeed.
Totally. Yeah.
Right?
I feel that.
Yeah. Anyway, we like Dom.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we had Gunther versus Pat McAfee. Gunther dominating throughout this match, but Pat McAfee getting in some good offense in this match, some kicks.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't do much against a Goliath like Gunther. But this match was all about respect, right? Standing up for yourself, standing up for your friends, no matter, what the odds look like, standing up. And I love the message. And I think for Pat McAfee's character, which is already beloved,
Yeah.
this just, I mean, through the
And oh my
roof.
God, he was beat red.
Yeah. Well, and when he was getting choked out by Gunther, which set up this whole thing, he was like a tomato.
Yeah.
So he definitely can go red. Michael Cole got involved a little bit, which fired Pat up, and sort of gave him a resurgence at one point in the match. But as much as Pat kept kind of coming back from the dead, ultimately the behemoth that Gunther is proved to be more challenged than Pat could handle.
Yeah. Yeah, Gunther got Pat McAfee in a sleeper hold. He passed out and Gunther won. But post-match, he did show him some respect in the ring.
Yep.
I think you're right. I think the general message of this was really good. And Pat McAfee, I mean, say what you want about the match as a whole, whether it had enough action or whatever. Like there's some stamina there that is impressive because as we've said before, to go as hard as they go for these long lengths of time is, would be quite difficult. So, Pat McAfee did a great job for someone who's not really a wrestler. So, I mean, he's been in the ring a few times, but he's not a wrestler.
Yeah, and I mean, he was a professional athlete, but he's been retired for almost a decade. Um, no disrespect, but the position that he played as a pro athlete was a kicker.
Yeah.
Not tons of sprinting involved in that one. But yeah, no, total respect. It was great. I don't think it was any kind of super embarrassing thing. Do I think it was extremely one-sided and, that Pat was very outmatched? Yes. But I think it was still entertaining, and I think that Pat gave as much fight as he could.
Yeah. Yep. Respect to you, Pat McAfee.
Indeed.
And your friendship with Michael Cole. It's so sweet.
It really is. It's this whole other super endearing thing that you don't really count on in wrestling.
Yeah.
But it's wonderful.
It's nice.
Yeah.
John Cena and Randy Orton was the main event for Backlash. So we roll into that next. This match started slow, which is not uncommon for John Cena matches of late. Whether that's a stamina thing or a style thing for his current character. There was lots of stuff going on. Table spots, ref bumps, lots of different things. And I think that this probably, like, there's a lot of people online saying this will probably be their last one-on-one match together. And they have like a very long history. They were showing some of the stats during this match of like how many matches they've actually had together, one-on-one tag matches. The numbers were crazy. They've had a lot of matches together, a lot of history.
Yeah, he's RKO'd Cena something like 25 times.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
So Cena ends up taking out a second ref to stop a count on Orton's RKO, and Randy Orton gets frustrated. There's like producers out there and everything, and everyone that's in the ring, he RKOs everybody. Like, I don't know how many people, like there were like 6 or 8 people. He just RKO after RKO after RKO.
Yeah, we've seen him do stuff like that before.
Yeah.
When he gets cranky, no one's safe.
No. he goes to punt Cena. R-Truth steps in, which was kind of a surprise spot. But R-Truth, big supporter of John Cena.
Yeah, just childhood hero,
Yeah. Yeah.
despite the fact that he's like
Older.
7 years older than him.
Yeah. John Cena low blows Randy Orton after that and uses the title win to win that match and retains.
Yep. Another heel tactic and another title retention. Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say another title retention. It's a title retention.
Yeah.
Not thrilled, but not surprised by any means. I mean, I definitely would have wanted to see Randy win, but I knew he wasn't going to, as I've said a number of times. Cena's holding on to this belt for most of this year. I see him losing it maybe at SummerSlam, like maybe. If not SummerSlam, probably Survivor Series.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
I just had a prediction idea in my head, but I'm going to save it for a little bit later because I have some related stuff coming up. So
can't wait.
Yeah. Then we'll roll into Monday Night Raw, May 12th. That was at the KFC Yum Center in Louisville, Kentucky. 81-42.
81-42. I think we ate KFC on SmackDown night. So that would have been neat if the SmackDown.
It would have been cool if we ate it on the Raw night, or yes, the KFC Yum Center was.
Weird to say eat KFC on the Raw night though. Right? Don't.
It's a weird sentence. Yeah.
Not good.
Funny enough, I did see something with Liv and Dom talking about their least favorite venues. I don't know what that was from, if it was from like Hot Ones or something, but they were saying their least favorite venue to go to was the KFC Yum Center in Kentucky.
Interesting. I
Yeah.
wonder why that is.
I don't
He
know.
loves chicken tenders.
I know, you'd think he'd love it. You'd think he'd be super into KFC.
Yeah.
I don't know why. They were doing heel things, being heels, you know. First on the show, we have the CM Punk promo. So he's out there kind of addressing Paul Heyman's betrayal against him at WrestleMania 41. They're supposed to be best friends. And he calls out Paul Heyman, and he calls him a penguin. The Penguin. He says, "Come on out here, Penguin. I want to talk to you."
Yeah.
And Paul Heyman comes out, and right behind him comes Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker.
During his promo, CM Punk called Paul Heyman fat a couple of times, like two or three times. And I mean, listen, Paul Heyman is a large fella. There's no denying that. I do. And I mean, I don't want to be a Karen here. That's not my intention. I'm just going to call out the fact that I thought it was odd that in 2025 that, he was blatantly calling somebody fat who clearly has some weight issues. I just thought that was an interesting way to go at somebody. I mean, they've got all kinds of other ways to dig at each other in this without generally resorting to that sort of thing. I was a little bit surprised. I mean, I'm sure it was discussed and nobody's feelings were hurt or anything like that. I just imagine the audience and the way that people react to stuff like that these days. I imagine that there were a lot of people that really didn't like that.
Yeah, I would be more concerned for how it made viewers feel. I think Paul Heyman's been present through a lot of different eras of wrestling, and it probably did not offend him. I think
he might have told him, "Hey, call me a fat ass."
Exactly. He might have been part of the decision to do that. But I think, yes, to your point, I would be maybe more concerned about how the viewer or the fans felt about that, or how it made them feel like it's a bad thing to be overweight.
Yeah.
So I definitely see where you're coming from there.
Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, so Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker come out. They end up, Seth kind of sicks Braun Breaker on CM Punk like a dog.
Yeah.
Sends him out to the ring. Brawl breaks out. They're attacking CM Punk. And we get some saviors coming out to CM Punk's defense. And that is Sami Zayn and Jey Uso.
Yeah. I didn't like this. I'm all about this Seth Rollins thing. I know I'm biased. I really like Seth Rollins, but they've made a good move here with what they're doing with this sort of Cena Rock-esque sort
Yeah.
of pairing with Heyman and Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker as this sort of dog, you know, guard dog, I guess. I don't
Guard
know why
dog.
that was so hard to get out.
Yeah.
Um,
He's the muscle.
I really, really like what's going on there. I think that WWE has done well with this, but they need to appear powerful. It
Yeah.
needs to appear menacing and something that is going to be hard to overcome. Sending a couple guys out to basically send them running away it just didn't sit well with me. I didn't like that. And I mean, especially when one of those guys is Sami Zayn, like, I don't know. It was odd. It was odd.
Hmm. I don't know. I'm not as upset about it as you are, but I get your points. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. I just want to see this Seth thing really take hold and become something to buy into, So like
Yeah,
the bloodline and Roman Reigns. I mean,
I
he
get what you're
held the
saying.
title for 3 years. Nobody got the better of him for, forever.
Yeah, you want there to be more build up for them before people just quickly knock them down.
Well, yeah, we're 4 weeks in on this, and you're having them run away.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah, I get it.
That's just silly.
Next, we had Penta
Again.
versus Chad Gable, official Chad Gable.
I wonder why he wanted to fight Chad Gable.
I don't know.
Strange, right?
I don't know.
Why not
I couldn't
El
tell you.
Grande Americano?
I don't know. I don't know. He was feeling the heat against Chad Gable today.
Well,
There's no connection.
okay.
Chad Gable dominating early in this match. Penta wins this with a Mexican destroyer. It continues the rivalry that's been going on, but there's not like any huge story development here.
No. Mild storyline continuation.
Yeah.
Nothing to keep me up at night.
Yeah. Next, we had the War Raiders versus the Creed brothers. The New Day is out there. This is this a qualifier match?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I believe it was. I don't have that noted.
Yeah, I'm
but,
pretty sure it was.
Yeah. So the New Day is out there watching this match. They do interfere, attack the War Raiders, and the Creeds are able to get the win solely because of that attack. And that's it. That's all I had to say about it.
I feel
just
like
was double checking my notes.
It was strange for New Day to attack the War Raiders. I mean, you already beat them. You know you can beat them. That's how you won the title. So why would you help the Creed brothers win when I'm pretty sure they'll whoop your ass?
Yeah, I was thinking that too, but I was thinking maybe they're trying to accentuate like a feud that's not really there, but because that's who they fought before for the belts, like there's some kind of feud between them and the War Raiders.
That's weak.
Yeah, it is a weak storyline. I'm just saying that's the best I can come up with.
Yeah, can you tell that we maybe didn't love Raw as much as SmackDown?
Yeah, which is odd. We've said this before. We normally love Raw more than SmackDown, but we're getting kind of even. And there's a lot of weeks lately where we enjoy SmackDown a little bit more. So
yeah, and as I said, SmackDown wasn't even super compelling. So Raw just didn't hit for me this week.
Yeah. Next, we had a Jey Uso promo. He's discussing the upcoming title defense versus Logan Paul. I think that's at Saturday Night Main Event. And he's interrupted by Gunther, who announces that he wants to challenge whoever wins at Saturday Night Main Event to a match on June 9th.
And like just what everybody was hoping for, more Gunther Jey Uso stuff.
Yeah, we're kind of backtracking here.
Like, I mean, I think they both acknowledged in interviews on the way to WrestleMania how long this feud had gone and how difficult it was to keep the fire burning. And now we're just going to keep going a month later.
That's a good point.
What are we doing?
Yeah, dragging it out even further after it's actually over. The storyline's over now. Why are we going back to it? I don't know.
No, it needs to stay with this Seth Rollins thing. He needs to take the belt off Jey Uso, and I mean take it off of him. This should not be hard. I mean, Jey threw everything he had at him in their last match, and he still couldn't get a pin on Seth. So go take that belt, build your faction, be awesome like Roman Reigns and the Bloodline were, and give us that for a while. Like there's just it seems so easy.
Yeah.
Go and do it.
I don't know. Do you think that there's a world where they let Logan Paul in the mix? Like maybe Logan Paul takes the belt off Jey Uso. I don't know. I doubt that, but I'm just saying.
I don't know. I feel like this Seth Rollins thing works so much better with a belt.
Yeah, I know. You're very passionate about that. I can tell.
Yeah. Well, who everybody should be. This was the biggest thing from WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It was, and the show of shows. The thing that stole the show was this storyline creation with Seth and Paul Heyman and the betrayal and all of this. And where's this going to go? Got to get it right. Got to get it right.
All right. Get it right. Okay. Oh, after this, sorry, so that all happens after this. We cut to backstage, and Braun Breaker of the Seth Rollins faction. Are they named? They're not named yet. Eh? There's no faction name yet.
No, he's just Braun Breaker.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have a faction name yet. Braun Breaker attacks Jey Uso backstage.
Yep.
And so we see Jey Uso laying on the ground, and Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker are kind of standing over
So
him.
hopefully that's going to feed into my wish.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Next we had AJ Styles versus Finn Balor. This was a good match. They're both amazing wrestlers, so I hate AJ Styles, but that's just how I feel. Sorry, AJ Styles, but
Yeah.
it was a bit, even that was a bit, quick to the point. I'm sorry, but I don't like him. Anyways, Penta interferes, distracting Finn Balor, and AJ Styles is able to hit his phenomenal forearm for the win.
It was, to your point, a great match. Two very accomplished wrestlers, both with amazing history. Lots of fun to watch. This Penta thing, I don't know.
Penta's in the mix with a lot of different people.
Yeah, he's kind of got this feud, but because Chad Gable or El Grande, whatever you want to call him, he essentially helped Judgment Day.
Yeah.
So that, it sort of explains why Penta's got beef with all these guys, but it's like, pick a lane.
Yeah.
Where are we going?
It's not a clear path. That's what's confusing. Anyway, AJ Styles wins.
Yep.
Next, we had a Becky Lynch promo. We come in, she's sitting up on the turnbuckle, blaming the fans for turning on her and being jerks to her.
Yeah, well, and this pretty much wraps up any of the issues that you were referring to from the, the difficulty in her getting the crowd to really dig into her.
That's true, yeah.
She just laid into them and said that everything is their fault. She went Cena on them, basically.
Yeah. We said that. Her tactic right now is very Cena-esque. What he's doing is very similar to what Becky... And that's why we think that... Well, sorry. I originally thought that they were going to join John Cena. Now I think that Becky Lynch might join the Paul Heyman faction. I don't really know what's going on there. But she's taking pointers from John Cena for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're looking to get a sure boo from the crowd, tell them how awful they are.
Yeah.
It'll probably get you there.
That's true. She issues a warning to the entire women's division, basically saying that she's not backing down and she's there to fight anybody that wants to fight, and that she is the best there is. She's back in business.
She's the man.
Back in business, Becky
She's
Two
the
Bells.
man.
The man. The Irish Lass Kicker.
Ooh.
It's a good
like
one.
That.
Yeah. Lastly, on Raw, we had Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus Julia and Roxanne Perez, these NXT ladies that seem here to stay on the main roster.
Yeah.
They're not officially drafted to main roster, but they are showing up quite a lot.
Well, and this is the main event too. So,
Yeah.
this was a bit of a savior for this episode for me. I actually really enjoyed this match. I really, really like Io Sky. My fandom for her grows with every week. I just every time we see her, she's gets me smiling and laughing. Her whole like,
Yeah.
it's so funny. And Rhea, I mean, you can't not like Rhea. She's very compelling. And I do think that these NXT girls have some star power as well.
Yeah.
Despite not having a lot of familiarity with them, I felt like they were compelling. Um, Roxanne Perez, we've seen a bit. We
Yeah.
actually got to see her live because she was in Chamber, but haven't seen a ton of her. And Julia, this was our first time seeing her in a match.
Yep.
So it was nice.
I think that you're right about the two of them. I would agree that I feel like they are very compelling, both in a wrestling aspect and in a promo aspect. Like Roxanne Perez seems to do well, I guess, with the storyline stuff. I think that they're good people to bring up. They don't seem timid at all. Um, I like them if they're going to be up permanently. I'm intrigued to see more from them. And Io Sky, like you said, is just endearing. We've come to love her a lot. So
Yeah, it was a lot of fun this match. Ultimately, we get the win from, the right team.
of course, yeah. Yeah, so Rhea Ripley and Io Sky do win this match, and it kind of continues a storyline with them as well because um, I said before that they kind of have a frenemy thing going on right now. They have a lot of respect for each other, but they're both gunning. Well, I mean, Io's got it, Rhea's gunning for the belt. So
That's the thing, in this game, no matter who you make friends with, at the end of the day, it's everyone for themselves when you're trying to be the champ, right?
that's right. Yep.
Is what it is.
And that's all, folks. That was
Yeah.
the end of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, so that'll take us into our first segment.
Ooh.
Top of the pop.
Top of the pop.
For me, this one is kind of easy. I mean, there was a bunch of crowd love being thrown around with 3 nights of wrestling, but for me, and I don't know if I'm maybe biased on this because it was my top pop, like it's the thing that made me freak out the most. Welcome back, Alexa Bliss.
Yeah. I'm in agreement, and I think that, first of all, anytime we get a big star kind of surprise return, it's always a huge pop. And the crowd really does love Alexa Bliss. So this was exponential, the pop from the crowd, bigger than their usual week-to-week pop for anybody. And yeah, we were excited too. Our house popped.
Yeah. So, right out of the gate, you're back and you've won top of the pop. Congratulations.
Yeah. Congrats. We're happy to see you.
And that'll take us into our next one.
You suck.
Hottest of the heat.
Hottest of the heat.
Bit of a gear switch this week. I mean, not really a shock, but first time I think that he's the winner of this award.
Yeah.
Looks like we're on the same page. Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
We're booing over his promo.
Yeah, his heel turn is really starting to pay off. Immediately when it happened, he came out, the crowd was booing significantly, and you were like, oh.
Yeah. They're digging in. I mean, what he's doing is working. And this is the goal, folks. I mean, most of you watching are probably aware of that, but like, good for Seth, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly what the goal is. He's not doing this to find someplace in the middle. He wants to go to the extreme.
Yeah, being booed is not a bad thing if you're getting enough of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, this heel turn is going to take away the cheers. So that you got to get him booing, right?
Yeah.
So I was proud of it. I thought it was great, and I want a boo cheer for him.
Boo cheer.
Yeah, for sure.
Give him all the heat we can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're coming. We'll see you in August.
Well, that's great. That's our poppin' heat.
Yeah, congrats, Seth.
Congrats, Alexa Bliss and Seth Rollins. Good job, guys.
Mm-hmm. And that'll take us into our final segment, the social. Social.
Yep.
Live music video.
Live music video.
I'll say that every episode.
Yep. We put on quite a show for you, folks.
You're welcome.
All right. The social. This is a bit of a surprise social for you. We didn't really talk about too many of these things.
I wanted to be surprised with the stuff you were telling me.
Yeah. So let's get into it.
Yeah.
Mark Shapiro.
Tell me about him.
He was in a conference, I guess, talking about WWE tickets, ticket prices more specifically, and just talking about how the WWE itself has no plans to reduce ticket prices despite the fans' outrage, because we have a lot of fan outrage right now for the cost of going to these shows. I mean, even typical Raw and SmackDown shows are crazy right now to get to them. And anyways, they were just saying those ticket prices are basically here to stay. And part of the reason, I think, and just another thing that was announced, that they're going down from 300 events a year to 200. And a lot of those that are cut out are the house shows. There's going to be a lot less house shows. But I mean, that's quite a bit. They're cutting out like 100 shows a year.
So it's up to the fans to make up for that loss of revenue?
I guess so, yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's crazy. There's a way around this, folks. It's not here to stay if you just collectively decide as a city for 3-4 weeks in a row to not buy tickets.
Yeah.
WWE is not going to decide that they are not going to operate anymore, but they might decide to lower their ticket prices to have some people in the stands if you stop going. And that's what it is. And I mean, I'm not trying to attack this thing that I love, but to have the response of these ticket prices are here to stay, they're not going anywhere, we don't care that you're outraged over this, and we're going to keep announcing our highest gates ever at every event we do. Like, I'm sorry, if you want to treat us that way, then I think we're well within our rights to say, hey, we can get you back. But you have to combine, as a full audience to say, like, I'm going to sacrifice going to a live show this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to boycott it. And if, enough people get on board to do that, then maybe something can be done. But if you just keep bitching about it as you pay for the ticket, why would WWE change anything? Like, keep whining. You're still buying the ticket. Like,
yeah. I mean, the tough thing about this is that we're of the opinion that ticket prices are too high. We're still buying tickets to go to the shows. I also don't want WWE to hate us, so we want sponsorships. So we're not attacking you.
Yeah, no, obviously we love you. We want you to be more accessible. That's it.
That is the thing.
It's not any kind of hate at all, and certainly not trying to get any hate from WWE. But it doesn't appear as though the financial situation there in Stamford is really one that you're struggling with. So why not react to the fan outrage with a little bit of positivity? Drop your prices 10-15%. It's not that much, but it's enough to say, hey, we're hearing you.
Yeah, I think also the thing is that while WWE is marketed to all ages, it is a family thing. There are lots of kids that love wrestling. I think, that's a huge market for WWE, and I don't think a lot of parents, or I shouldn't say a lot, but there are many parents out there that are not in a position to pay these types of prices for their family of 4 to go to a show. And in raising these prices, and even to say there are a lot of adults out there that can't fork out $400 for a, mediocre level ticket to a show. You're cutting out a lot of your fan base, because if you're not getting the people to the shows, it's experience it the same way, and they can't fall in love with it the same way, and you end up losing them. They drop off. So,
Well, and I think it's a pretty common consensus that the super rich ticket buyers aren't necessarily the best crowd people either, right?
that's
Like
true.
they're
Yeah.
not the rowdy, ruckus, fun loving crowd that I would think they'd want.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not to say that everybody with money or can't have a good time. I'm just saying there's got to be somewhere in the middle here,
Mm-hmm.
like and keep those floor seats outrageous, but make those upper bowls something that are affordable because they're not. They're not right now. You're spending crazy money for a nosebleed, and I feel like it could be done differently and everyone could still win.
Yeah. Agreed. Next, a little note on Cody Rhodes' return. He is currently still listed as scheduled for being at Money in the Bank, which I believe is like June 7th.
Oh my God.
So this is what I was saying earlier, that I was like, I'm going to come back to it because I know something that's coming up. I think, and I believe currently you think, that Cody Rhodes is going to win Money in the Bank.
Hell yeah, he is. I didn't even think about it till
Yeah.
now.
So I think that given this information, that right now he's currently still scheduled to be at Money in the Bank.
This is brilliant.
It doesn't say that he is competing, but it does say he is scheduled to be there, which could mean that he is competing. And that would be pretty cool. If he got Money in the Bank, that would be great.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, think about it,
I
right?
know.
That's how he gets it back.
It's been in my head for the last 10 minutes or whatever.
Like it's gonna be that, that last pay-per-view where it looks like Cena's accomplishing his goal of taking the title home, being the last real champ, and then boom, Cody's coming out with his Money in the Bank, and it is gonna be the end of the road for Cena, and he's gonna take that belt and say, "You're out of time." Boom.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think so. I'm with you. I think this is a very possible prediction.
Yeah, I'm loving this. Where that's going to happen, obviously, is the question. But,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, we don't know where he's going to cash in yet, but I really do think
That's
he's going to
juicy.
win Money in the Bank. Yeah, pretty cool. Next. Karrion Kross. We talked a little bit about this earlier, but it seems like the fans are rallying behind him. I guess on social media, he had a lot of fans asking about the availability of his merch at the live shows. They wanted to be able to buy his stuff at the live shows. He just put up a post saying that their voices are being heard. He has talked to officials at WWE, and this coming Monday Night Raw, they're going to start selling one of his shirts along with the other merch at the live show. I bring this up because it made me think that I think WWE, given this whole Karrion Kross situation lately and, his kind of freak out that he had, that they are going to do a push for Karrion Kross and bring him in more storyline. If they're selling his merch, I can't imagine they wouldn't be pushing more storyline for him.
Worked for Jay.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
No, I think Karrion Kross is a wicked character. I think there's a lot of potential with him. And I think we should buy his shirt on Monday.
All right.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, we have, this was something we talked about before. There was just another article about how WWE, there's no dates or locations listed yet, but how WWE is planning to run a kind of like they do in Europe, a I guess string of tour of live events in Mexico in the near future, all culminating in a big super show.
That makes sense with all the luchador push that they're working with right now and the AAA acquisition. Yeah. Seems right in line with everything.
I think that's pretty cool, and it allows us to plan a trip to Mexico. So
don't hate that.
Yeah.
Popping heat, heading to the heat.
I like to get to the heat, to the sun and the beach.
Yeah.
Next, you had something that I noted down for you, Stone Cold.
Yeah, so I had heard that Stone Cold Steve Austin was offered $1 million by Logan Paul to wear a Prime Bottle costume at WrestleMania. Clearly, he did not accept the offer. And when he was asked about it in an interview, he was told that Logan Paul had talked about this. That's why
Yeah.
it was being asked. And he said, okay, he's like, I didn't think that he wanted this talked about. He's like, I didn't think that we were going to discuss this publicly, but since it's out there, yeah, no, I turned it down. He said, I'm a beer guy. I have a beer brand. I don't know anything about your drink. No.
Yeah.
And so, and I just think that's pretty great. You know, you look like Stone Cold, he came from an era where like there weren't guaranteed contracts and things like that. You know, he was part of the wave that changed wrestling to be something that is a professional sport with contracted athletes and, you know,
Yeah.
millions of dollars and things like that. He was, you know, one of the first to make crazy money and go into that kind of stardom after the Hogan sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it just says a lot about the fact that he's done so well for himself as a wrestler coming from that generation that he can turn down $1 million.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's amazing that anybody could turn down $1 million for anything.
For sure. I get it. I just feel like he seems to me like a person that has a lot of integrity, you know? Like I don't think I think that it might be a silly funny thing, and I don't think that it's for some people a horrible thing to do, but I think that for him given his character and who he's built himself to be, it would be quite humiliating.
Very off brand.
And
yes.
He has too much integrity to do something like that.
Clearly.
Yeah.
A super integral man.
Yeah.
I thought it was a wicked story.
I really like him.
And a great kick in Logan Paul's ass.
Yeah.
We
Screw you, Logan Paul.
Yeah, pretty great.
Lastly, this isn't really social related, but we wanted to talk to you a little bit about some merch stuff. I just had two cool things I found today online that I wanted to talk about because we might buy them. But on the WWE shop website, they're selling an Igloo belt bag, bum bag, fanny pack, that style of bag, and it is the Undisputed Championship belt. And it is a cooler bag. It's insulated and it fits 4 cans. So you know, Diet Coke or beer or whatever you're into. And I think it's super neat. So I've been looking at that. And the other thing is they have Alexa Bliss's leather jacket on there.
Yeah,
which is
cool.
Super cool. It's the one that says Fiend Forever, but it, you know, in note Friend Forever. And then says Play in Pain, and it's got all of her little graphics on it. And I think that's really cool.
That's going to have to make its way into our collection. Yeah. The last thing that we're on the fence with right now is there are still a handful of the limited edition. They made 500 of this Macho Man Randy Savage Legacy Championship belt. Comes in a big sunglasses suitcase container thing, like it's in the shape of sunglasses.
Yeah.
Comes with sunglasses, a bandana, and then this Legacy Championship belt. It is extremely expensive. It's only available on WWE Euroshop.
Yeah.
Which comes with some hefty duty charges.
But we did have a positive experience buying from the Euroshop because while there were hefty duty charges, the prices of the items were significantly lower. So it evened out kind of in the end. Yeah. And there's some stuff you can't get here. So.
And this is one of those things, you know, the thing that you can't get. So I can't buy this belt on WWE Shop Canada or in the States. It's only available through WWE Euroshop. So all this to say, very much on the fence. If you've got any opinions on what I should do about that belt or what we should do about that belt, if you own that belt yourself and want to tell me whether you think it's a good purchase or not, that would be great.
Yeah, let us know. If you are looking at buying any WWE merch or you've seen anything on our page that you like, or, you know, you're looking at getting a new t-shirt, whatever it is, if you head over to our link tree, That's linktr.ee/pop and heat, POPNHEAT. Usually in our descriptions of the videos, we throw that link in there. If you head over to that link, you can get into all of the different shops, the US shop, the Canada shop, the Euro shop. We usually feature some of the products we've talked about, and there's no extra charge to you. It just goes to support us and our podcast and everything. So if we, the sales go through that link. So no extra cost to you. You still get your merch like you're shopping through the regular shop, and it supports our podcast. So we'd love for you to do that.
Yeah, because Pop and Heat is brought to you by us.
Yeah, we're doing it all. It's a lot of work.
Us. We feel like we would like that to change.
We need help.
We would like it to be brought to you by people other than us. So, yeah, like and subscribe. Show us all the love you can. It'll really help us out. You can check out episodes of our audio podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, and Audible.
And of course, all the socials. We have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X. You can find us at Pop and Heat. That's at POPNH. Let me try that again. At POPNHEAT. There we go.
Nailed it. And obviously, here we are on YouTube. So
that's us.
Come back and check us out. We do these episodes weekly, but we also will be uploading all kinds of different content, like our product reveal videos, all kinds of different little things that we'll throw in along the way. Yeah. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. Check back in next week and check out some of our other videos in the meantime.
Right on. Take care, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye-bye.